the People's Podcast. What's up, y'all? This is DJ Busby.
And it's your boy JKD.
And this is the People's Podcast, here each and every Monday morning live on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and I got some special news, guys. Apple Podcast is finally available with the People's Podcast.
I thought it was always available, bro.
Yeah, but there was a little, I don't want to get
messed
into
up.
it. No, I didn't.
Okay.
Okay, the long story short, basically pre-prelim.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I get it.
When I replaced the content, but taking all of the pre-prelim content down,
Right.
took it off of Apple Podcasts. So
Right.
it had to be resubmitted, and
Okay.
we're back.
Okay.
So Apple Podcasts, also Google Podcasts. So more or less 90% of y'all, whatever you have, you can find a podcast somewhere.
Right.
Just type in the PPLs podcast.
Right.
All right. Let's get the show started, man.
Yes, sir.
Somebody touched my dick over the weekend at a party.
Again, dog?
This happened before?
Remember? Oh, it happened to
yeah.
me. It happened
Oh,
to
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
it happened to both of us.
Both of us, yeah. Bruh. She came and touched our peepees, bro. We were at some club downtown. She come and fucking reach out JKD. I said, what's going on here? Hello? He's a married man. Then she come to me now.
It felt nice, didn't it, though? It felt nice, though.
A little bit. But she was burst. She was burst. But this thing on I won't say which party.
Okay.
She's not burst. So
Okay,
that
all
one felt nice.
Okay. All right.
But she touched my pee-pee. With that being said, let's get into the first topic. Relationships, all right? Now, this is counterproductive jargon. So let's get into the actual
Yes, sir.
subject matter at hand. You
All
know,
right.
this is a more thought out and beneficial podcast to our culture, our community.
Absolutely.
And we have to talk on some subject matters that are going to be sensitive
Right.
if you got sensitive ears. And, you know, some topics, some of it could sound at times like judging,
Right.
but at the same time, we've all made our mistakes. Some we didn't even realize were mistakes.
Right.
And it's all about having the conversation and moving forward.
Right.
So with that being said, first topic of the day, we like to touch on 4 topics roughly. I think what we're going to have to do today, though, I didn't even mention this to you, but today I actually booked a flight to the UK next week.
Okay.
And I leave Thursday.
Right.
I'll get into that story later, but I leave Thursday, so we can't do the recording. So we're going to have content. So we might break
Right.
this episode into 2 parts,
Okay. Okay.
and you'll have content for the couple weeks coming up.
Nice.
So, first subject, this one, guys, is a very controversial but necessary conversation that needs to happen. Now, I'm going to let this clip play. I'll let the clip speak for itself, but we found this clip. I found it just scrolling on Instagram.
Right.
And normally that's what I'll do. I'll bring a clip such as what you're going to hear right now,
Right.
and then we'll have a discussion about it. So, Deli,
Right,
if you
cool.
could run that clip for us.
Why is it that 41-year-old Venus Williams, who chooses to remain a virgin until marriage, receives so much backlash for holding true to her values, while Rihanna, who gets pregnant by her boyfriend, not husband, gets all type of applause and congratulations? Why is it that we'll applaud that, but not an individual who chooses to stick to her standards? Why do we love applauding things that aren't in its rightful order and choose to demean that which is? Well, it's simple. This generation has slowly but surely taken God out of the equation, and a result, that which is good is bad, and that which is bad is good. Or that which is good is just old and traditional and outdated, and we just want to do our own thing. In this society, you're looked at as a weirdo for choosing to wait till marriage to have intimacy. You're looked at as a weirdo for choosing to dress modestly. You're looked at as a weirdo for trying to stand up for the word of God while the rest of the world just tries to water it down to their likings. Venus, I doubt you're going to see this, but girl, I applaud you 100%. Keep going and being the example.
He's drinking water, but he's not about to mind his business. So, Jerron.
Yes, sir.
Now, people, before you even say anything, Jerron,
Yeah.
I sent this to Jerron a week ago. And the moment he sat there and listened to it, his first words was to me was in all caps lock, capital letters,
Yeah.
LMAO, I have a lot to say
about it, yeah.
about this. So, with that being said, what do you have to say about what you just heard?
I agree with this lady 100%. Only reason why is because Venus is a prime example of myself.
Okay.
I waited till 25 to get married. I got married. Sorry, I got married at 25, and I waited to have sex with my wife until I got married. Why? I wouldn't say it's religion. I wouldn't say it's because of religion. It was more the fact that my mom raised me in a way where she wasn't raised. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
My mom had sex out of wedlock, saw some difficulties in life, and she didn't want that for me. Yeah. So she instilled in me to wait until I was married to have sex. Mm. And those are values that I grew up with, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And not just that, it's just that the woman I wanted to marry, I wanted her to see that, like, if I could do that for myself, if I can wait to have sex for myself, I can do anything.
So Allison Hines turned you down and then you found Tasha. That was the woman you wanted to marry, no?
Allison Hines is my second wife, okay?
Wow. Takes clip and sends to Tasha.
But I just hold true values that what I grew up knowing, you know what I'm saying? Mm. Mind you, I don't fault anybody for having sex out of wedlock. Mm. I don't, like, it's your life. Yeah. You make your own decision. You know what I'm saying? It's just like right now, like, if you choose to go to a store without a mask, go ahead. It's your life. Who am I to say? You know what I'm saying? Mm. But for me, I agree with Venus. I absolutely love what she did. What she's waiting to get married to have sex. I applaud her for that.
But meanwhile, let's just acknowledge the fact that there's certain people out there who have given up meat for Lent, but are taking and giving bamboo right through the 40 days. That's a sin.
Or don't even eat meat on exactly. Good Friday.
But no, God forbid in those 40 days. But you still taking bamboo. You still giving bamboo all through them 40 days. Nah, man. But
again, everybody has a decision to make, and they make their decision. Who am I to say it's wrong or right? Mm.
Absolutely. Now my stance on it, and I would never get too deep into my personal history like that, mm-hmm. or at least I would try not to. But it was one thing that you've said to me in the past that was really profound, mm-hmm. and I was in the romancing stage and getting to know a certain young lady. And JKD straight up told me, yo, Buzz, you're my boy. But, like, I see what's going on here. And I just ask of you, don't slap it up too early. Right. Meaning don't, again, those of you on the YouTube, you know what this is. Okay. Right. Don't do it too early.
Especially if it's a woman that you really want to get to know.
Right. And even if it's not, don't do it too early. Like, I shouldn't have done it too early. It ended up happening. Right. Those temptations are serious, as many of you know. And it happened early. And it was only after it happened. That connection that you have with somebody on that level is an extremely serious and personal thing where you've probably heard it in the past. Energy is exchanged through stuff like that. Right. And what happened? It happened early. It was pushed onto me more or less, and I ended up doing it, but only afterwards to find out this was not the person for me by any means. Right. It happened in a previous relationship before that too. Right. It happened early because we were just physically attracted to each other, but then find out after the fact, then you find out A, B, C, D. Right. And you're like, I can't live with this, but I'm already balls deep, literally. I'm already swimming in, you know what I mean? So it's facts. And that situation happened to me twice in my life. Mm-hmm. The second time was your influence to say, do me that favor and try. But stuff happens, like you said. Right. And I learned a valuable lesson through that. Right. And moving forward now, this past summer I've tried to date and go out with females and stuff, or women, and play the field, test the waters, and see what's out there for me. Because I gave up on that for a little while. I just figured, you know what, I have too much on my plate. Right now, it's pretty much the same thing. But I say that to say I was dating one person, and she was clearly like into me. And bro, that subject matter came up. I'm talking 2-3 days of like consistent conversation where we just get into bubble and talk. Then that topic of conversation comes up, and I explain what my stance on it is. I've been down this road before, But when it comes to sex, I would rather wait until I know for a fact you're the one that I want to be with.
Right.
You know, and to an extent, even until marriage.
Right.
I've had my fun, you know, and but until like I that's what I was trying to convey.
Right.
I don't want to end up in another situation where I've already done this, I've fallen head over heels for you, and then find out all your bad traits.
Well, because you're at a different stage in your life now, where you know what you want. So,
bro, that was the shortest discussion I have ever had in my life.
And that, to me, that's kind of sad though.
It's so super sad.
That's kind of sad because, like, what are you telling me that sex is everything in a
Exactly.
relationship? Which is, when you get older, you know that that's not the case.
One thing my mom always told me, we till today, and this is probably why I'm not good at it at all. We've never had the birds and the bees conversation.
For real?
I've just been thrown out to the wolves to figure it out.
Wow.
Never once. The most I've had was like a repair conversation when bad things were happening to me in a relationship. But one thing my mom has always said was those looks go away. You get to a certain age, all of that's gone.
Right.
You might be head over heel. You love them right now. You think they're the most beautiful thing in the world.
Right.
First of all, there's a whole other world out there. So there's bare people that, you know, are probably even better looking than the one that you're with that work better for you.
Right.
But it's not the looks. It's everything else that comes with it.
Right.
And when you're 50, 60 years old, some of you 50, 60-year-olds are still out there, you know. But when you get to them ages, it's not about the sex.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find the foundation and make sure that's right before I give myself like that to somebody else again. You know? And then there's always the gray area too.
Right.
Because there is putting yourself in that scenario and doing those things with people that you don't have intentions of being together with.
Right.
And that's perfectly fine as well at the end of the day too, if both of you are on the same page.
You're right.
But what I don't agree with is when people play like they want one thing, get what they get, and then cut.
Right.
You know, and a big part of this too is like what you said earlier, wedlock. Some people don't know that this is not the person for them.
Right.
It might take getting married, having a child, eventually to realize, I messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a rough one. And, you know, the biggest part of what I heard in this that I took was keeping God in the relationship. And again, not to get too deep,
Right.
I've been with somebody who had a completely different relationship. That was absolutely one of the most difficult things I have had to deal with relationship-wise in my entire life. I felt that they meaning the family's acceptance of who I would be was not there.
Right.
And I didn't even meet the family. It was
That's
that
crazy.
much of a scarce or a scared situation between her and I, and her to say, I don't even think my mom would accept the fact that you're Christian. Bro. And when my mom heard, that's what I was saying, like my mom will interject when needed.
Right.
When she heard that, she lost her shit. She's like, do you see how we are as a family?
Right. Yeah.
We are not exclusive, like we could only be with our circle of people. Right. We're inclusive. We bring in people no matter what your race, what your culture.
Right.
So for somebody to literally feel like they have to hide you in order to be with you, that's not the person you need to be with.
Right. Facts.
And since then, that was another reason I told the person who I was speaking to last summer what I did. Mm-hmm. I'm not going into another relationship without having that as a foundation as well. Right. Similar beliefs, religious beliefs, believing in God, having, you know, mutual understandings on certain subject matters within a relationship is key. And, you know, tying it all back into what we're talking about here, you know, people praise Rihanna.
Right.
Oh my God, congratulations. It's a baby out of wedlock.
Right.
You know, and it's not to say that that's a problem.
Right.
But at the end of the day, this is not, as she said, the quote unquote sacred way of doing things and what makes sense in terms of building a family.
Right.
You know, come after the baby's born. What if what's his name? Travis Scott?
No, ASAP Rocky.
Okay. That shows you how much I give a fuck. All right. But once that baby's born, what happens if he goes to the strip club one night?
True.
Now Rihanna left there with her little Fendi baby and it's problem.
Yeah.
But another thing that stuck out with this situation in particular was how she said that the community frowns upon doing things the right way.
Yeah.
And you're a fucking culprit of this yourself. Yeah. Enough times this man's called me gay. You know how much people that I know have that underlying message when they're talking to me or about me. Oh, well, Buzz is not out there like he should be. He should be knocking down these things. And because he's not,
True.
he probably
You're
gay.
right. You're right.
He probably gay. Because I have standards now, I'm gay.
No, you're absolutely right.
Best believe you me. All right? I've swam. I told you. I've been swimming. All right? Yes. Y'all know the mama story. There's been a lot that's happened to Buzz. I've experienced what I had to experience.
Yeah.
But I say that to say I know what I want now, and I'm at a mature level where entertaining something that's not right for me
Right.
is too much right now. I have way too much on my plate and my mind to even be entertaining these things out here.
All right.
And until it's the right one, I'm not getting myself back into that lotion. All right. So anyway, that's my stance on it. And, to be honest, to end that, to put a button on that, I feel like this day and age and this culture is a special kind of hell.
Yeah.
For somebody with a good heart that's actually trying to do things the right way.
Right.
The hookup culture, it's not it, man.
Right. Right.
If you're really trying to build a family and do the steps that it takes to get to that next level in life, the hookup thing is not it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that ends the relationship segment.
Right.
I know you have something else to bring to the table that's pretty spicy.
Yes, sir.
And interesting.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna get into it. Deli, if you could hit that second video recording for me, please.
Let me show you why it's so important to follow through with the amazing ideas that you have. Now, yesterday in HBCU news, this went crazy. Ralph Lauren unveils a collection for HBCUs Morehouse and Spelman. Now, let me show you why the story is getting real tricky. In 2018, my business partner Justin and I created the Black Ivy League to highlight the HBCUs in an upscale fashion. We wanted to highlight schools like Morehouse, Spelman, Howard, Fisk, and Dillard. And to show you I'm not capped, look at the date, November 21st, 2018. We actually even had a logo made. Now, I want you to pay really close attention to the sweater, this Spelman sweater that Polo did for this collection. It looks very similar to the one that we wanted to do for our own collection, the Black Ivy League. Even their marketing and branding had the exact same feel that ours had way back in 2018. Now, I don't want this to feel like I'm bashing Ralph Lauren at all. I appreciate them for putting on for HBCUs. But it's nothing like supporting your own people. So with that being said, this fall, Black Ivy League will drop. We're going to see this idea through.
Wow. Okay. So as you guys could tell, this is the entertainment section of the podcast.
Yes, sir.
So,
Buzz,
yeah.
when watching this, what do you think?
What do I think? I heard the brother 19 Keys, peace family.
Yes. Yes, sir.
19 Keys tapping
Right.
it. 19 Keys, brilliant mind.
Right.
Once again, I highly suggest that's an amazing piece of entertainment.
Right.
Influencer and a thought leader
Right.
on YouTube that you guys just type in 19 Keys. Just watch any one of his videos. Brilliant mind. He said something that struck a chord with me. And he said, if you really analyze a society and like today's day and age of society, what sets people apart? You know what I mean? Especially in terms of status, in terms of wealth. Do you think that those people that are considered the high class or the most wealthy in this society follow the conventional, systematic, I go to work 9 to 5 and specifically pay my bills and that's how I'm going to be happy?
Yeah.
No, but what sets them apart from the leaders?
Right.
Leaders are the people that had an idea, put in the work, executed that, and rose to the top.
True.
So what is the difference? It's that idea and being able to execute it and bring it instead of just following the conventional 9 to 5.
True.
And that's what I would take from this is that the idea is everything.
Right.
And I wouldn't say everything. The idea is a huge part of it.
Right.
Right. And it's a sacred thing that you have to own, protect, and work on.
Yeah.
So that's
I agree. I am a believer that like nothing is new under the sun. Everything it's gonna be recycled. It's just how you spin it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And in this day and age, I feel like you have to be the one to execute it as quickly as possible if you want your idea to blow up.
Yeah.
Clearly, in this case, these guys have been sitting on something for how long now? And Ralph Lauren, a Caucasian company, let's just say,
Jakey learning, bro.
a Caucasian company put it out first. And this is a prime example of If you have an idea, execute it. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Jot all your things down, get it in motion, market it, get everything, see it through. That's one thing I seen in the comments of this video. Some person like, yo, like we take too long to see things through.
Facts.
As a community.
Yeah.
So like it irks me when I see things like this because like, yo, we could have had first dibs on it.
Yeah. First at bat. And you know, a big thing that happened here, it was really a boost for me because, you know, when you and I talk behind the scenes.
Right.
And I've told you some ideas that you see the value in those spaces that I've told you ideas of. It has nothing to do with FETs, by the way.
Right.
My mind has expanded so far beyond FETs, it's ridiculous
Yeah.
when you guys see those things unfold. But this put a light under my behind.
Yep.
To say I really got to get on top of doing those ideas.
Right.
And the reality is a lot of these things are very simple things that could be done.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes with me, I think a big issue with me is sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I like to be too much of a perfectionist.
Okay.
And if it's a really big idea,
Right.
I want to see that as perfect to what I had in my head as possible.
Right.
I wouldn't want to throw it out there half-assed.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
A big thing besides that too is your intellectual property and protecting it.
True.
Like these are your core ideas that could easily be taken by a bigger company like what happened here.
Right.
And blown up.
Right.
And now you're a nobody when realistically you were the one with that idea.
Right.
So protecting those ideas and knowing that what you have is of value and making sure that nobody's able to steal it.
Right.
You know, that's important. Having attorneys on board.
Right.
Being able to say, I was watching MKBHD interview that he did. YouTube superstar. He has like 15 million subscribers on YouTube.
Okay.
Some people out there, because he's so big,
Right.
we're just taking his brand and putting it on clothing
Right.
and selling it.
Right.
So he was like, I just took a screenshot of those things and sent it right to my attorney. And I was like, is this allowed?
Right.
Like, can people do this?
Right.
And they were like, nope, that's not right. We'll take care of it right away. Probably a cease and desist letter sent to
Right.
the company.
Right.
So said, so done.
Right.
So knowing those things, people, is important as well.
And we have the resources. You know what I'm saying? I feel like our community doesn't tap into that kind of market because they're afraid to think that we can't get this done. We can't get this done. But like, yo, we can get it.
Yeah.
Like we have lawyers, we have attorneys, we have, you know, people who issues out copyrights and all that stuff. You just got to spend the time to do your research and, you know, and find the resources.
The thing is, these are things that were never taught in our industry.
Absolutely.
Especially as DJs and entertainers or event planners.
Right.
These things were not taught.
Right. Right.
The upper heads in the community, they don't pass down this
No.
knowledge. And not even to say they don't pass it down, they might not even partake in it.
Right.
A lot of stuff I've heard over the years was, this person stole my idea.
Right.
I've been doing this Fed, or I did this Fed already.
Exactly.
They're teething. What sense does it do complaining? You didn't go and you didn't do your due diligence.
Right.
You didn't copyright. You didn't put patents on it,
Right,
etc. Whatever you
exactly.
need to do.
Exactly.
I don't even fully know because again, I'm diving into this space now myself.
Exactly,
But I understand the importance of wanting to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, we weren't taught this.
Right.
So, but like Jerron said, and like I always say on the podcast, there's stuff like Google.com. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah. Yep.
Type that into your search engine. You'd be amazed.
YouTube University.
YouTube University, and just see what you have to do
Right.
in these certain spaces. And that's another reason why this platform, the People's Podcast, is a beneficial thing.
Absolutely.
We're trying to provide that information to you. So the guests that we bring on board, we are actively choosing because we know they've experienced a lot of the things we're trying to
Absolutely.
teach.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
that's a big thing.
Man.
Another aspect of this I want to touch on is the fact that, you know, it's not always just the idea that you have to believe in.
Right.
You have to believe in yourself,
Absolutely.
you know, and that's a key aspect.
Right.
Without getting into detail, you know, I used to have an event, very big event in the city. And you know yourself, bro. You were fighting me to keep that idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, yo, I know you're leaving, you're parting ways with these guys, but you need to keep this idea. This idea is way too good, bro.
Right.
And what did I always tell you?
It's not the name, it's the formula.
It's me that developed the formula.
True.
I could come up with another name like that.
Right.
I developed the formula and I know what I did and I brought to the table.
Yeah.
So Throw the name in the garbage. I don't care.
Sure.
I'm gonna come back with something even better and make
Right,
you wish that
right.
you would have, you know?
Right.
And lo and behold,
Right.
tsunami is going to be one of the world's biggest events
Yeah.
for our culture. Period.
Right.
I'm not even saying like I'm not even trying to think how that might that was what is going to happen.
Right.
Just how you see brainwash going to different places in the world,
Yep.
a tsunami's going to Trinidad, a tsunami's going to Miami.
Right.
But that I believed in myself.
Exactly.
I didn't spend
Exactly.
time. What was more to me at that time was a peace of mind,
Right.
knowing that I was getting rid of dead weight.
Right. Yeah.
And I now had full ownership, which is another huge thing we're going to be talking about a lot.
Right.
Ownership over what I'm doing and map it out accordingly.
Yeah.
This was my idea in the jump anyway. It was a formula. I brought it to life again
Right.
in a really big way.
Oh yeah.
And y'all gonna definitely see that one flourish. Yeah. So it is a big thing with the idea, right? But believe in yourself
Right.
on top of the idea.
Right.
And believe that you can do this. These things it's not easy per se to achieve,
Right.
but it's very possible if you really figure out the steps and work towards it.
Right. And just how like we said it in the last episode is like when you have an idea, speak into existence. You know what I'm saying? We had a conversation with Farm P. And we talked about, the tongue is a powerful thing. Not that way.
Whoa.
Not that way.
Ladies, keep out of his DMs, please. What are you trying to do here, Pastor? Relax yourself.
But
You see how you looking at the camera too? What happened to this guy? Yeah, no, stop it. You stop it.
but I'm saying, the tongue is a powerful thing, man. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So things that you want in your life, you gotta speak it.
Facts.
If you want a house, say that you want a house and work on it. If you want that job that you've been trying to get, you're gonna get it.
That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. When it comes to this subject as well, the idea, and it's another part of entertainment that we're going to be talking about here today.
Right.
We got a few pieces of entertainment for you guys. We like to give content that both you could enjoy, but also that you could learn from.
Right, exactly.
A huge thing when it comes to the idea is something that Steve Harvey recently said in an interview with Earn Your Leisure.
Right.
Big up those guys at Earn Your Leisure. I honestly feel like that was, it still has a whole year to go, but that is a contender for interview of the year.
Okay.
Amazing interview. Have you seen it fully yet?
I got halfway through and didn't watch the rest. Yeah.
What did you think?
Amazing so far.
Bro,
Amazing so far.
I've watched it 4 or 5 times now.
Wow.
That just shows you how much I value what he was saying.
Right.
But a big part of that, did you get to the part about America's Got Talent?
Yes, I did.
So what happened there?
So prior to America's Got Talent, he had his own show. I forgot what it's called.
Big Time.
Big Time. And he had he had acts, like it was actually like a show.
Yeah.
And he had the same acts that were on Americans Got Talent were on that show. I'm not sure what happened, why it got canceled, but do you know what happened?
Why America's Got Talent?
No, why his show got canceled.
They probably didn't want. I don't think he elaborated on that. If
Okay.
I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But they probably didn't want to fund it. They kept telling him no.
Well, they came out with the same concept, same formula, and they called it America's Got Talent. And look, it's like one of the popular shows on TV.
Most popular shows ever. And he literally said, if he knew the business
Right.
properly,
Right.
and knew to protect that intellectual
Exactly.
property,
Yep.
they wouldn't even be sitting there having that conversation right
Right.
now because of how wealthy Steve Harvey would be.
Right.
Some of these ideas,
crazy.
guys, that we think of are super genius.
Right.
And don't ever, one thing I want to say too is don't ever limit yourself to the confines of what you know.
Right. Yeah.
If you have an idea, think big with it.
Yeah.
It's not just for the soca scene. This is
absolutely.
We are not even a drop in the water when it comes to the soca
Absolutely.
scene.
Absolutely.
Don't study that.
Even with Steve Harvey, like with the game show that Family Feud that he runs right now, it's basically it's pretty much his show, eh?
Yeah.
It's pretty much his show. He said, I remember there was one part where he says like, "How could I get Family Feud in Africa?" Mm-hmm. And he's just like, he talked to his manager or whoever, and he's like, "Yo, make this happen because I want to do it." And look, he spoke it into existence. Mm-hmm. They figured out a way to get the show in Africa, and it happened in Africa.
And another key thing that he said there was, my guy doesn't give me excuses.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I want something done, he doesn't come back telling
Absolutely.
me A, B, and C why it can't be done. We understand it can't be done. I want to figure out how it can be done.
Yeah. That guy reminds me of myself.
About like
Yeah.
doing it.
I'm
with-
like, what,
yeah, that's how you are.
that's how I am. You say you want something done, I'm that person. Be like, okay, well, let's try.
Yeah,
Let's try to get this done.
facts. That's exactly how JKD is. And that's why you're on the team. That's it's as simple as that. But it is what it is, bro. And,
Right.
I want to touch on a few other. I know you didn't watch it through, so maybe on the next
Yes.
episode we'll
Right.
dive back into it because I'm gonna keep watching that interview.
Okay.
You know, he spoke about gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
and I posted that on my Instagram, and it amazes me just posting something like that how far it could go. Just in terms of people's reach and the way people respond to you, saying like, "Thank you for sharing this.
Right.
This is big."
Right.
And big up Shamari, and he was having an interview with Hype Man
Okay.
out of Trinidad, one of the bigger MCs out there.
Okay.
And he brought it up that Busby posted this thing about Steve Harvey talking about gratitude. Now, for those of you that haven't seen it, Steve Harvey, I'll paraphrase, but he was more or less talking about along the journey of you getting to where you want to be, gratitude is one of the most important and key foundation aspects of getting you to
Right.
that end goal.
Right.
And when it comes to gratitude, you know, it's like me going to your crib every day.
Right.
Say, yo, JKD, let me get some bread.
Right.
And you give me a loaf of bread.
Right.
But what would happen if every single day I take that bread and just turn my back
Right.
and not say anything to you? You as JKD, as a human being, how many times is it going to take for you to be like, yo, bro, are you going to say thank you? Or
Right.
you just going to keep taking this bread and moving along?
Right. Right.
You know, but if I was grateful, I ain't saying to go down and kiss anybody's feet or like bow down to anybody.
Right.
But if I was grateful, like Steve Harvey was saying, maybe one day you give me 3 loaves of bread
Right.
and say, yo, you don't have to worry about coming back for a week, man.
Right.
It's okay.
Right.
And that's how God's grace is when it comes to being thankful for every little step.
Absolutely.
I post things on Instagram all the time, and even if it seems minuscule to whoever, I post it with gratitude, saying thank you for this opportunity because it means a lot to me.
Right. Right.
Something as simple as like almost every time, and I probably have missed a few here or there, but almost every time that somebody's reposted something of mine and I get that notification,
Right.
I
Yeah, it
say
says-
thank you.
Right.
So much people have always said down the road, yo, Buzz, you really don't have to thank me for this.
Right.
And I wasn't even thinking what Steve Harvey was saying. That's just how I was raised.
Right.
But that's a reality of life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And whether you believe in God or not, that grace and that ability to say thank you and actually mean it is what will get you further.
True.
A big thing to close on that is manners will take you where money won't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And money could take you only so far. But if you're a POS, all right, that door will be closed on you no matter how much bread you're bringing to the table.
Right. Right.
Right? He said so many gems. I'll probably shine light on maybe one more. This one. I don't know if you got to the part about his wife.
No.
So they asked him, what was the turning? There's so much we have to talk about.
Okay.
The next episode.
Okay.
The wife situation. They asked him, what was your biggest turning point? Because he's made so many mistakes
Right, right.
up until a certain point.
Right.
They asked him, Steve, what was your biggest turning point in your career where you were like off to the races and
Right.
you knew that you're going to be successful? Steve Harvey said, the biggest turning point, as cliche as it might sound, was my wife,
Wow.
was when I married my wife. And he said the peace of mind that she gave him
Right.
and the way she made him feel like bigger than anything in the world.
Right.
Don't listen to them, honey. You way better than that.
Right.
That and the peace that he got with being with her was priceless. And it's the biggest thing that happened to him in his career.
Right.
And for some, like, people need to study the greats when it comes to this. And for him to say something that profound with millions of dollars sitting in the
Right,
bank,
right.
but still to come and say, my wife is the one
Right.
that made me get to this point.
Right.
Take that in.
Yeah.
So we're not coming here to say don't have sex before marriage just to shun you.
Right.
But all of these things is like take in who you're going to be with. Figure that person out fully. Know that you're going to be in peace with that person
Right.
and then decide to move forward. You understand?
Right.
And I think that was huge.
Right.
Peace with who you're going to be with is key
Right.
when it comes to your success.
Again, like when we had that conversation with Farm P, you know, he basically was saying like, you know, like that person that you're gonna be with for the rest of your life has to be that person who is going to be by your side, who is going to push you to your potential. Yeah. And it has to be that best friend. You get what I'm saying? Yep. So I do like relate, like, you know, now, you know, with me and my wife's situation, like we know what we want in our lives and goals, and, you know, and we're working together. It's not separate, together to obtain those goals. So that, you know, that spouse has to be your best friend. Facts. In your corner always.
Facts. Big facts.
Yeah.
Big facts. But anyways, people, this is this week's episode. Now, when you see us on YouTube next week with a whole new episode,
yes, sir,
don't think we're dirty people that don't change our clothes. We're just continuing the podcast from this point, but separating it into two. Because right now, I'm in London.
You know somebody would say that.
I know. I know how the internet operates already. So I'm letting y'all know from now. Even if that was the case, right. Like we don't have washers and dryers.
Exactly.
We filmed this week. So anyway, don't get me started. I'm gonna be in London. Let me say that story now.
Sure.
Because I'm headed there.
Right.
Bro, crazy situation.
Right.
Yo, the man's work company is sending him out to work on something in the UK.
Okay.
Paying for a full luxurious hotel, living room, bedroom, kitchen.
Right.
His wife and daughter were supposed to go with him. His wife has finals or something.
Okay.
Can't go again.
Okay.
So he asked me if I wanted to go. At first, I was hesitant because he's like, yeah, but you have to buy the flight.
Right.
And you know a flight to UK. We spent that money.
Yeah.
But I went and checked up the flights, and I'm like, yo, this is a bit reasonable.
Right.
This is not bad. Then I was speaking to Judgment, Big Up Judgment. He's like, yo, why don't you just go, bro, and try and get a gig or two?
Right.
Then that might offset your costs.
Right.
So said, so done. Ended up thinking it through. I have the vacation time. I just don't know how I'm going to be using it later in the year, so it might hurt me in that respect.
Right.
But this is a big opportunity just to go and get away.
Absolutely.
And a gig. So
right
now, if you're listening to this between early April, I'm in London.
In a bit, yeah.
All right, bro. But yeah, it's an opportunity, and big up Pajo Music.
Okay.
The moment I just told him I was coming down there.
And he
like, has an event.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, yeah, bro, I'll slot you in.
Okay, wicked.
That gave me prime time.
Seriously?
Yeah, bro.
Wow.
And on top, I posted that I was going.
Yeah.
Enough London things in it. Enough London things message me, bro. Very girl. So I have to make sure when I'm on the flight going down, I listen to the people's podcast so I don't go sticking my PP in.
This guy's so stupid.
Gotta go over there and make some London baby that goes against everything I'm here saying on the podcast. Oh man. So Sharzy Shine. Keep away, all right? I'll wave at you from afar. You and your big backside. Anyway, so before we get out of here for this week's episode, we just want to let you know once again, the show is now available on YouTube. That's the main place where I encourage you guys to go and check us out.
Yep.
But we do understand you guys are working as well, your 9 to 5s, whatever have you.
Right.
And sometimes you can't watch us.
Right.
So if you have YouTube Premium, you can listen, but free ways of listening is SoundCloud, Spotify. We're now up on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. Right. And again, I know we've said it before, but we'll call it again. We're looking for interns and volunteers to come and help with this project because we really believe in the transformative power of the project and what it could do for our community.
Right.
So any help is appreciated. Maybe next week we'll go into specifics.
Right.
Because I've literally mapped out almost an end goal.
Right.
The weird thing about ideas, like this guy's saying, is an idea, to me, it never really stays stationary. An idea is constantly growing.
Right.
And like my mind, for instance, bro, if you were to talk to me a year or two ago, my mind was not anywhere close in the place it is right now.
Right.
That's because my ideas have evolved.
Right.
And that's what we hope for all of you. But at the end of the day, I have a long projection of where this could go and is going. Right. So we would love if interns and volunteers could help out with that project. And, down the road, it could turn into something very serious for you.
Right.
If you study the podcast market, you'll see that.
And with the platforms, we love engagement. You know what I'm saying? Like, we love when people give their thoughts and their comments on certain topics that we're talking about. So we encourage everybody who is listening, engage with us. You know what I'm saying? We can talk back.
Absolutely. And go in the comments, say what you want to say. Any point in the podcast, let's just say you're listening to the podcast today,
Right.
and JKD says something you may love or dislike.
Right. Exactly.
As soon as you hear that, your intention could be to pick up your phone and go in the comments.
Right.
Treat it like a chat room.
Exactly.
As you're hearing stuff, go in the comments and say what you have to say.
Right.
We are making a conscious effort to read everything.
Exactly.
If you go on all of our platforms right now, I've responded to about 90% of those comments. You know, and we're trying to make a conscious effort with that as well. So like JKD said, guys, go in the comments. Make sure to follow, subscribe, hit the like button. That's important for algorithms and those things to push our content to the top.
All right.
All right. So we'll close off this week's episode and we'll see you guys next week for part 2 of this episode of the People's Podcast.
Peace.